Big kahunas from AMD are coming. Intel wants to give us 1 trillion transistors, and the AI chatbots are here to take over your life. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're going to be going over the hottest tech news I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast. And I just want to remind you, in case you want to listen to hot news as a podcast on your way to work while you're enjoying something where you can't watch the visual medium of YouTube, we do have a podcast audio version you can check out at the link in the video description. It's available on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, all of your major podcasting platforms, so you can listen to it there in case you want to. And now you're going to listen to me talk about something that we were told was not going to happen. According to previous rumors, AMD was only going to be delivering a Ryzen 7 8-core X3D chip, and these X3D chips are supposed to be the next wave of gaming chips that are actually going to allow us to unlock the full potential of what AMD has for us. A lot of people were underwhelmed by Ryzen 7000. The recent price discounts have definitely helped out to sweeten that pot, but there hasn't been a whole lot of incentive to upgrade, especially considering something like a Ryzen 5800 X3D existing. Well, according to Quasar Zone, who's just finished some special coverage on the X3D chips, it appears that AMD is actually going to be releasing an 8, 12, and 16 core version of these X3D chips, as opposed to the 8 and 6 core versions that we've heard previously. And according to reports, this makes 3 sources that are confirming AMD is going to release something like a 7950 X3D, a 7900 X3D, and the 8 core version, which according to them is undecided whether it's going to be the 7700 or 7800 X3D. And then, unlike the 5800 X3D, these Ryzen 7000 series will have the same clock speed as the current chips. Let me repeat that. They will have the 3D V cache and the same clock speeds, which is wild, which is crazy, which means that these things, if this is all true, are going to be insane. Additionally, we will likely see them unveiled at CES in just a few weeks. Also, WCCF Tech unveiling that they believe that everything will be 170 watts, which means that they will be on par with the current generation of chips out there, except for the 7700 X3D will get a bump from 105 watts up to the 170 watts. This will likely be what people need to buy. This will be the game changer chip that will allow for better video game performance versus what we got, which was just a minor upgrade versus the 5800 X3D. Obviously, we're hearing more recent sources say that we are getting a 16 core in case you want that. Although the last time we talked about this with rumors saying that there would be no higher than 8 cores, a lot of people in the comments were talking about why would you need it? Why would you need a 16 core X3D chip? It doesn't make any sense. I do expect the comments to be a little different of like, oh, this is great. I've always wanted a 16 core X3D chip. Why wouldn't you want the multi-core enhancements with the gaming enhancements fused together? That is like a productivity enthusiast dream. People want this. Do you want this? Are you excited about this? According to all this is like AMD's gonna win. There's like Intel can't compete with the 7950 X3D that is fully clocked and like potentially overclockable. I don't see that happening with a 13900 KS. I'm very excited for this. If it's real, obviously we have to wait till CES, but you let me know down below in those comments. But we're also expecting to get the non-X versions of these chips being announced at CES. The 7900, 7700, and 7600 allegedly are going to be launched on January 4th at CES and then come out on the 10th and be at a lower price point, roughly around the sale points that we've been seeing for the 7900X, all of the other chips that are currently available, which might help make it a little bit more palatable for the people who want to save money. And then people get the 7600 for $250, but then if you want something like the 7800 X3D, hopefully you're spending like $399 on that. That would be great. But I know that you probably won't be pairing it with the #1 GPU according to the Steam hardware survey. The GTX 1650 finally stealing the top spot from the GTX 1060, increasing about 0.2% in their market share, the GTX 1650 being the #1. The tricky part here is that the 1650 as well as the 1060 incorporate their laptop versions together in those market share numbers. So we've talked about previously on how something like the 3060 laptop plus the RTX 3060, when you fuse them together, has a higher market share, but it's unclear what's the #1 in desktops. But the 1650 still very popular, still being sold for $200, which is absolutely absurd when you can get an RX 6600 for that price, or you spend $50 more and you get an RX 6650 XT. It's crazy. Who's buying a 1650? People who want NVIDIA. That's very clear. And who's turning on ray tracing? People who want the best, which is actually in Fortnite now. The Chapter 4 has happened, and the big update here, the reason we're talking about it on Hot News, is the fact that it's the first video game being released with Unreal Engine 5.1. So it's getting all of the major technological updates that we've been expecting from UE 5.1, including Nanite, including Lumen, all of the ray tracing enhancements. It's a whole lot that they've gone into in actually developing UE 5.1, making it a significant upgrade over UE 5.0. And from what I've gathered, Fortnite looks significantly better, and you can play it at 60 FPS with ray tracing turned on the latest consoles. Regardless of what you think of the game, it's very clear that Epic Games has been using Fortnite as a testing ground for their technology that will make other video games better as they continue to use this engine. And I'm excited for the games like The Witcher 4 to start using it. That's what I'm looking forward to. And I know you've been looking forward to it all weekend. We're back with Cryptostonks. Bitcoin's up 1.19% to be at 17,147, being on a little bit of a surge lately. Ethereum's up 2.6% to be at 1285, and Dogecoin's up 3.5% to be at 10.4 cents. And Reece, you better be up with those UFD deals. Better be.
Hey, welcome back to UFD Deals. We're bringing the hottest tech deals out on the internet. Coming to you from not so sunny Pretoria, we've got thunderstorms in the background that you guys will probably hear. Luckily, the deals keep coming though. I've got a nice little selection for you today. Starting with a package deal from HyperX with a Pulsefire Core and Alloy Core RGB. This wide keyboard and mouse combo is going for $39.98, which is $40 off. Pair that up with their extra large Pulsefire matte gaming mouse pad for only $17.99, which is $12 off. And lastly, their Cloud X wired gaming headset. This one's label is for Xbox, Xbox Series S, X, all that, but that's all marketing. It's the cool black silver one, which I think goes with anything. For only $39.99, which is $20 off. Round that all together and you've got a nice little gift package for someone for under $100. So thanks HyperX, saving Christmas. And then if you want to pick up something nice for yourself, the LG G2 Series 65-inch 4K OLED Smart TV is going for $1,999.99, which is $800 off. I've seen this thing in person with the whole gallery design. It looks awesome as a little painting if you want to have it in that mode. And with that, I hope you guys have a good Monday and a good rest of your week. Until next time, cheers.
Does anybody else find it weird that I pretend to talk to Reece, who's in South Africa and at the time of filming is more than likely sleeping at 3 a.m. and I'm just alone in this basement? Kyler's not even here because I'm filming this on Sunday. It's just a weird situation that we're all in with this whole thing. And Tesla's been in a little bit of a weird situation, not delivering on products that they announced in 2017 that they said should be delivered by 2019. Well, they finally did the first deliveries of the Tesla Semi last week to PepsiCo as well as Frito-Lay, and they gave a whole lot of information about the Semi, including the fact that it can do 500 miles in a single drive while being fully loaded up to 82,000 pounds. And they gave a lot of details except for the weight of the truck and its total price, but they did reveal that the battery pack is going to be more than 850 kilowatts to allow it to hit that 500 miles, with them revealing that it does about 1.7 kilowatts per mile. The delivery is taking place, but the actual price of the truck not being announced. They did publish a fully uncut version of the 500-mile drive. No charging stops, went in one go. It's not clear whether Tesla is going to be able to turn this into a successful part of their business. It has been delayed significantly, like other objects like the Cybertruck or the Roadster that people put $50,000 deposits down on. As with anything that Elon Musk does, he can talk a very big game, but then when it comes to the actual delivering of said product, it usually is not quite in the either timeline that he suggested or in the full capacity of what he suggested. And we'll just have to wait and see if this actually ends up taking over what regular diesel trucks do. I'm a big fan of the Tesla Semi. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to replace the diesel vehicles that are out there with electric if we can get the range correctly, if this actually works with charging stops, because they did announce that it's going to be a megawatt capable charging once they roll out their level 4 superchargers. But again, infrastructure needs to be there for this to be viable, for it to be a gigantic takeover and actually revolutionize the industry, which Intel has done time and time again. And they gave a talk on the 75th anniversary of the Transistor, talking about how they expect by 2030 that there should be about 1 trillion transistors in a package. This is a very technical talk that Intel ended up giving, which we'll leave links to in the video description if you want to check it out. But essentially, they're going to get there by utilizing Moore's Law and scaling down to 2D materials, which we're making up things on how the 2D is a thing. State-of-the-art dimensions for silicon. Intel knows what they're talking about. I certainly don't. I am not a computer engineer. Is that what these people are called? Electrical? There's a lot of engineering that goes into these chips. It's a big deal. What has been a big deal across the internet is OpenAI's new ChatGPT bot, which can essentially drum up a million different things. It is actually a breathtaking piece of technology being seen this utilized across the internet. People giving it prompts to answer dialogue. It can come up with like incredibly well-written articles or blog posts that don't have the full truth in them and can be very deceptive, but it's very confident in its answers. It's a remarkable piece of technology. So for your benefit, I asked it to give an example of a computer news broadcast by a YouTuber, and here's what we've got. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Tech Talk with Tim. In today's broadcast, we'll be discussing the latest developments in the world of technology. First up, it looks like Apple just unveiled their newest iPhone model, the iPhone 14. This new phone boasts a larger screen, longer battery life, and a faster processor than its predecessor. It's available for pre-order now and will be released to the public next week. Next, we have some exciting news for gamers. The highly anticipated game Cyberpunk 2077 has finally been released. This open-world RPG is set in a futuristic world and has been receiving rave reviews from critics. It's available now on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. In other news, Google has announced that they're working on a new AI-powered assistant. This assistant will be able to understand and respond in natural language, making it easier for users to interact with their devices. The assistant is currently in development and is expected to be released next year. That's all for today's episode of Tech Talk with Tim. Stay tuned for our next broadcast, where we'll be discussing the latest developments in the world of artificial intelligence. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. That's good. That's really good as far as like the conversational language. It does say that when you give it prompts it can't answer, that it got shut off from the internet culture from 2021 onwards, so it can't actually talk about like new relevant stuff that's actually happening. And it can't do things like write in the style of UFD Tech or Linus Tech Tips or anything like that. It's kind of restricted on that bound, but OpenAI is doing a lot of crazy stuff. AI is wild and it's just getting better. And being able to develop the prompts to actually instigate AI to get it to produce the answer of what you're looking for is probably going to be a highly coveted skill as time marches forward. I don't think this is necessarily going to replace everybody in the industries that it's working towards, but I do think that it's going to require a shift towards being able to actually massage the AI to produce something that's palatable, and that's a skill in and of itself. And it's a skill to find the 7900 series cards on sale before they're on sale, but they're not on sale, they're just on Amazon. Sapphire 7900 XT and XTX are available over on Amazon, except for they're currently unavailable, and I'm using the wrong words, but they're a 3-pack, so it's there. Sapphire officially listing them. It's a non-story. That's it for Tech Talk with Tim. I'll see you guys tomorrow.